to you. Aloha to you on TikTok. Aloha to you on YouTube. And we'd like to say aloha to you on Twitch, on Instagram, and also on Trovo in Europe. So good morning and aloha from Hawaii. We're going to talk about it. So manifestation, effective manifestation. Manifestation you can control. Now, why is this important? Well, it's important because otherwise, if you don't plan and if you don't direct your focus, you're going to live a random life. And that suggests that things happen and you respond. And things happen and you respond. Things happen, respond. That's not the kind of life to live. Why is that? Well, if you intentionally focus on things, you bring it into your world. Okay, this is science. This is proven science. This is also biology, because you were engineered like this as a human being. Okay, so what is the formula? Well, we are told that the formula is ask, believe, receive. What are the components? There is only the conscious, the subconscious, and superconscious. Good morning, Jay. Good morning. Good morning, Clinton. So if you're talking about manifestation, it's a fancy, mystical way of saying accomplishing a goal. So how do you do it? Well, first, you have to know what your target is. Okay, so the question becomes, what do you want? That's a big question. What do you want? Well, some people will say, well, I want a new house, I want a new car, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do this, I want that adventure, I want to go hiking, I want to climb Mount Everest, I want to do all these things. So what's the process? Well, first, the process is to understand what it is you're shooting for. Understand what the goal is. Now, if you're managing a business or if you're an entrepreneur, you already know that you have to do these things. If you're not, if you're just, let's say, working at a company or working for a corporation, you have to understand that even in those parameters, within those parameters, you can manifest what you want. Okay, because there is a way that this affects this. And it's hard science. It's very hard science. Okay, so you're told ask, believe, receive, but how does it really work? Well, first of all, your conscious mind selects what it is you're targeting. Then you install it into the subconscious mind. How do you do that? Well, affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. Now that it's a program in your subconscious, what happens? Well, your subconscious will repeat these things until it materializes. How does it materialize? Through the superconscious, working with the subconscious. Okay. And where are these things located? They're all located in here because you're a human being. Okay, so let's break this down in a way you can understand it. So let's say, for example, you want to weigh a certain amount. Let's say it's 195 pounds. Okay, so start with an affirmation. Okay, I am so happy and grateful now that I weigh 195 pounds. Thank you. Now, what does that do? Well, it starts to go into your subconscious. How long does it take to go into your subconscious to work? That depends on how sharp your subconscious is. Okay, now you have to condition your subconscious. You have to exercise your subconscious. It's like a muscle. Okay, so executives know this because they do this all the time. They write affirmations and they also journal. Now, I don't recommend journaling. The only time I recommend journaling is if you want to keep a record of certain things that you've accomplished. Otherwise, if you're writing about what happened yesterday, it's going into your subconscious. If you're writing about what happened last week and journaling, I went to the office and there was drama and this happened and that happened, Now you're bringing yesterday into today. And when you think about this, it will repeat itself. Okay, you know how they say history repeats itself? If you bring the past into the present, history will repeat itself for you at your level with what you're doing. So I don't recommend journaling. Journaling is if you're writing about how you're feeling and you write something negative that happened yesterday and you're journaling about it, now it's an imprint in your subconscious. Okay, so avoid journaling in that way. Now, if you're making a list of accomplishments, that's fine. You know, yesterday we hit the sales mark. We sold 15,000 yesterday. You write it down. Okay, now there's a record of accomplishment versus, oh, yesterday it was drama, like a diary. Yesterday there was drama, you know, and I had this fight with Susie, and then she stormed out of the office, and then the rest of the people in the office were all upset. Right? If you're writing like that, if you're journaling like that, you are ingraining this in your subconscious. You're bringing yesterday's problems into today. Okay, and here's how that works. Let's say, for example, you have problems. Yesterday you had problems. Now you're focusing on these problems to try to solve them yesterday. Okay. Now maybe these problems did not get solved yesterday. So now you wake up this morning. Now you've moved these problems from yesterday to today. Now you're focused on these problems. Because why? Because you're trying to solve these problems or figure it out. Or the how, right? How do I solve these problems? Okay, the how is God's job. Okay, but now that you've brought your problems into today, what happens? You think about it. Thoughts become things. A belief is a thought. You keep thinking. Pretty soon you start believing what you brought into today. Then what happens? Well, if you don't solve these problems today, or if you don't get rid of them today, okay, and remember, we all have to work. We all have jobs, right? Okay, now what happens? Well, you wake up tomorrow and all these problems are in tomorrow now. Because remember, time is an illusion. Okay, time is a human construct. So now you've brought these problems into tomorrow. Okay, and this happens over and over and over and over because your subconscious memorizes this, because they become programs in your subconscious. And then what happens? Well, you keep bringing these problems day to day to day to day to day. You keep living the same life over and over and over and over and over. And then one day, you run out of life. You do have a limited time. Okay, your time is limited. You're only here. We don't even know. We don't even know when our time is up. I may not be here tomorrow. And that's okay. But what I'm saying is, if you're getting the same results over and over and over and over and over and over, that's because you keep taking things from today, you put it into tomorrow, you take it to the next day, you take it to the next day, take it to the next day, and pretty soon you can't figure out why these things keep happening. Why is it happening to me? Why do I keep living the same life over and over and over? There's many elements to this. There's many elements. Environment is one of them, right? So how do I change this negative pattern? Or maybe it's not necessarily a negative pattern, but you're not satisfied with where you are. Maybe you're not making enough money. Maybe you're not having the family you want. Maybe you don't have the partner you want, or wife you want, or girlfriend you want. Maybe you don't have the job you want. How do you attain these things? Most people seek out here. They go looking out here because we have eyes. We're humans, we have eyes, we look out there. So we seek out there. When the holy books tell you to seek and ye shall find, they're not talking about out there. They're talking about in here. So you seek with your eyes closed. You seek like this. This is what seeking looks like. And you go within because the kingdom is within. Everything is within. Nothing is out there. The only thing out there is nature and things from someone else is in here. That's all that's out there. The answers are in here. Every book in every library came from somebody's in here. So when you read a book, when you watch a video, you're just receiving information that someone else has accumulated and has presented in a different way. I'm here to tell you that you are just as intelligent. I'm here to tell you that you have access to all of this information in here. All you have to do is ask. 5,000 years ago, in the Emerald Tablets, creation was pronounced complete. What does that mean? That means everything was complete. Everything has been invented. The only thing you are seeing are variations on a theme. That's all. Computers, technology, okay? At a certain point, there's a loop. At a certain point, things repeat. At a certain point, things get refined. But the ideas for these things, where do they come from? They come from someone's in here. Things evolve. You have access to everything you need for your life in here. So how do you do this? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, visualization. Okay, so let's go through the manifestation process. I've even been told by, religious people, okay, people who rely on religion. Okay, religion's not bad. I'm not hating on religion. I'm just saying, and they look at this as, oh no, that's a devil stuff. When you have a vision board, you look at the image. No, that's devil stuff. No, it's not. It's your subconscious. This is not mystical. There's no magic involved. Okay, now if you want to go do an incantation, if you want to go get fancy and I don't know, throw salt over your shoulder or whatever. You can, if that makes you feel good, okay, go for it. Go do everything, whatever you want to do. Okay, if you want to summon spirits, there is negative energy and there is positive energy. Everything is energy. But just know that you have a subconscious that learns in repetition. And the only thing a human being has to do in order to perfect that process, or let's say be successful at something, or let's say make your subconscious work on your behalf to serve you, it's your genie. All you have to do is program it the right way. Program it for what you're interested in. What are you interested in? What do you want? What goals are you pursuing? When you get distracted into the physical matrix so deeply that you can't understand the separation from body and spirit, you will lose the ability to create for yourself. Okay? So, what am I really saying? I'm really saying whatever you think this is in here, that's who you are. You're not your body, you're not your name, you're the energy in here. And that energy has power because God lives in here. Or let's say it another way, the universe lives in here. Or let's say it another way, higher self lives in here. Or let's say it another way, Source lives in here. The Creator lives in here. Jesus Christ lives in here. So you can connect with that energy. You can be a part of that energy and use it to your benefit. What do we call that energy? We call it the superconscious. There's only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. I'm not here to tell you what to believe, how to believe. People, they make it mystical. Oh, we're going to manifest this. We're going to manifest that. They're just accomplishing goals. That's it. First, know what you want. Second, program it into your subconscious. The subconscious learns in repetition. It also refines in repetition. You get better when you practice at something. It doesn't matter what it is. It just matters that you're interested in it. If a human being is interested in archery, they will become good at it. If they're interested in martial arts, they will become good at it. The only time you fail at anything is when you quit. The only time. Okay, when you do something and do it over and over and over again, you go, you know what, I'm tired of doing this. I'm going to do something else. And what do we call it? We call it changing your mind. And how does God operate when you change your mind? There's a very good process to watch to understand God. Look at a GPS. Okay, you see a GPS? It will tell you, it will give you a route to go to get to your destination. Okay? But if you know a shortcut, right, and you take the shortcut, what does the GPS do? It recalibrates. It figures out the new way. It's recalibrating. Then it will give you another way to go to get to your destination. That's the way God works. When you change your mind, when you set your intention or your focus, okay, actually all of it, on something else. Let's say you want to be a carpenter and you go down the road a little bit, right? And you go, good morning, Costas. Good morning, welcome. And you go down the road a little bit and you go, you know what? I don't think I want to be a carpenter. I think I want to be an electrician. And then you start going to those classes and you start taking those courses and you start being an apprentice under an electrician and you start going that way. What does God do? Or source or higher self or all of the above? Well, God recalibrates. God goes, oops, okay, he's changing his mind. Let's recalibrate this stuff. And then the doors begin to open because you're taking the baby steps towards your goal. That's manifestation. That's accomplishing goals. That's how it's done. First, you set the goal. Second, you take baby steps towards the goal. Now, once you put in your subconscious what the goal is, the superconscious will go, okay, that's the topic, electrician, is that what we're working on? Okay, it will start giving you intuitive thought concerning what the subconscious is focusing on. Now the subconscious says, electrician, we're working on electrician, okay. And now the superconscious starts giving you ideas. Well, maybe I should go to this school. Maybe I should take these courses. Maybe I should do some online work. Maybe I should. And it will start giving you intuitive thought. And when you get intuitive thought, you need to act on it. A lot of people dismiss intuitive thought. Let me give you the scenario one more time about driving. Okay, you drive down the street, you get that feeling, it's a feeling that you need to turn right over here. But you have free will, right? You can choose anything. You're a human being. And you say, nope, I'm going to go down. I'm going to go to the next light. And then you get stuck in the traffic jam. What do you say? You go, I knew I should have turned back there. Because you did know. Because you received intuitive thought, but you dismissed it. Now, if you really want to really observe intuitive thought and people choosing intuitive thought, watch a woman, watch a female. Females are emotional beings, and a lot of them receive these intuitive thoughts and they act on them. And you see, men look at this and they go, how does she do that? like Like, how did that happen, right? But somehow she knows. Somehow she knows, right? She has that feeling, She gets that feeling. And she acts on her feelings. And what happens? It turns out. Why? Because she followed intuitive thought. Now, men, most of us are rooted in logic, and we don't think like that, right? We have a right brain, but we normally pull left brain. We don't understand those things. Women understand it really well. When you follow a woman and her intuition, that's why they call it women's intuition, because it's sharper, because they give birth to babies, they have to be mama bears or not, but they have that capability is what I'm saying. But when you function, regardless, male, female, doesn't matter. But when you function on intuitive thought more, when you rely on that inner guidance, if you want to call it that, intuitive thought, inner guidance, divine guidance, whatever label you want to put on that. But that is the superconscious. That comes from the superconscious. That's right, Costas. God is in here. Yeah, Aura, you're right. We've been conditioned that God is outside. We've been conditioned to look up there. Okay. If your church is telling you that God is up there are heavens up there, okay? But it's the heavens. It's not heaven itself. God is in here. God is not up there. If you're a church that's taking your belief and putting it up in the sky, then you need to think about it. You need to do some research. You need to do some serious evaluating, because that's not where it happens. Life doesn't happen to you. Life happens for you. It unfolds for you from within, from in here. It unfolds this way. It's like you're a projector and you're projecting your life path as you go. What's a good analogy for that? Well, have you ever been driving down a dark street with no street lights? And your headlights only go so far? Maybe your headlights only go 200 feet, 300 feet, whatever it is. And you're driving at 50 miles an hour because you have faith. You have faith. Why do you have faith? Well, because you did it so many times that your subconscious memorized this. And you're no longer afraid to drive 55 on a dark street, and you're relying on what you see in front of you, even though it's a limited distance. But you have faith, so you keep going at 55 miles an hour. Okay? And that's subconscious learning. Your subconscious learned that. Your body is doing it better than you. What do I mean better than you? Better than your conscious mind. In other words, you don't have to think it over and over and over again. You just do it. So your subconscious is where all of your programs are stored. How to brush your teeth. How to drive to work. You drive to work Monday through Friday. Saturday, you want to go buy groceries at the store. And you accidentally drive to work, or catch yourself driving to work because you're thinking about something else. Now, if you didn't have a subconscious, what would happen? The minute you take your mind off the road, you get in an accident. We'd have way more accidents, right? But your body knows how to do it better than your conscious mind. You've committed it to memory. A lot of people think that they have bad memories. They do not have bad memories. They just need to think. They need to learn to think about something. Where did I put my car keys? Oh, my memory's so bad, I forgot where I put my car keys. Really? Sit down and be silent. Sit down and be still. Sit down and close your eyes. And visualize where you were. When was the last time you had your car keys? You see? Your subconscious will tell you. things that happened to you 10, 20, 30 years ago, depending on how old you are. All you have to do is experience a trigger. What's a trigger? Something that triggers the memory. And then you go, oh yeah, I remember when I was 5 we did that. I remember when I was 5 we went to the carnival. You know, we did, yeah, there was the bear, and my dad won a bear for me, and it was good fun. That kind of thing. But you're right, Ara, we've been conditioned that source or God or the creator is up there or out there. There is no out there. There is only nature out there, and other things from someone else is in here. Everything is in here. The solutions for all of your problems are in here. You don't have enough money? Solution is in here. You don't have enough love? The solution is in here. You're not getting enough attention? We have eyes, so we think it's somewhere out there. So the next time you need to seek an answer, close your eyes. Close your eyes like this and ask. Ask for the answer. Now, receiving the answer and trusting the answer are two different, separate things. Okay? We receive answers all the time. We receive intuitive thought all the time, right? Trust your ideas more. When you trust intuitive thought more, you will be better guided. Better guide your guidance system. You have a built-in guidance system. You ever seen a group of horses all spook at the same time because something moved in the bushes? One horse spooks, they all run. All of them. Why is that? They're connected. We're connected. It's the first universal law, the law of one. We're all connected. How are we connected? In here, energy. But all of us are different. All of us are here for a different purpose. All of us are here to serve a different purpose. Out of 8 billion people on the planet, we are all unique. We are all unique in here. But there is a separation between the body and the spirit. People that are too anchored in the physical matrix cannot feel the spirit. Some people think it's there. Some people have an idea that it exists, but they're so grounded in the physical matrix, they can't break free and observe the two, independent of each other. Every human being is emotional, Costas. Every human being. Yep, you're right, Aura. We create heaven on earth or hell. Heaven and hell in esoteric knowledge refers to heaven and hell, or head and heel. Study esoteric knowledge. Look it up. You create your heaven and you create your hell. How do you do that? Through your subconscious. You create your heaven or your hell. How many of you know someone in your family maybe who is tormented all the time? Tormented all the time with their thoughts. Because the subconscious learns to be angry. The subconscious learns to be frustrated. The subconscious learns to fear. The subconscious learns to be happy. The subconscious learns to be joyful. The subconscious learns to be grateful. The subconscious learns to be cheerful. So you choose. Now, we're going to go over emotional frequencies again. Okay? So let's say this is the center, And let's say positive emotions are here, negative emotions are here. What positive emotions are we talking about? These are high frequency emotions or good emotions. These are negative emotions or low vibrational emotions. Okay, so at the very top is love, then peace, gratitude, joy, passion, excitement, enthusiasm, hope, and satisfaction, right here. So when you are satisfied, you're on the right track. When you're satisfied. On this side of the spectrum, on the negative side, okay, the low frequency, the low vibrations, okay, it starts with worry. Worry is like praying for something bad to happen. Okay. Are you worrying? Your subconscious learns to worry. I had a great uncle that was a worrier. He worried about everything. That's the only thing he talked about, what he was worried about. If you read Job in the Holy Bible, it talks about that. Okay? It's a metaphorical lesson. What I fear falls upon me. Okay, worry. If you are worried about something, okay, you are bringing it into your world. Worry is the first low vibration. Worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear is at the very bottom. Fear is the opposite of love. Your natural state that you were born in is love. When you were an infant, when you were born in love. And then life happens, right? But you're born in love. Can you experience love? Sure. Love is the absence of all these low frequencies. The absence of worry, irritation, disappointment, criticism, anger, hate, boredom, envy, despair, grief, guilt, shame, and fear. It's the absence of it. How do we do that? Affirmations, meditation, vocalization, and visualization. And most people think that this is a hard thing to do. Most people think that this is hard to do. It's not hard to do. It's not hard to do at all. You don't have to attach to every emotion you feel. You can allow it to pass. You can allow thoughts and emotions to pass. That's what you do in meditation. You become the observer. You can observe drama without engaging in it or without attaching to it. So if you want to change a negative emotion or a negative vibration, what do? You focus on the opposite because the subconscious learns it. Good morning, Garrett. The subconscious learns to fear. The subconscious learns to feel guilty. The subconscious learns to worry, all of these things. But on the other side of the coin, the subconscious learns all of these things as well. The subconscious learns to love. You ever meet somebody who's so loving? You ever meet a woman that's so loving? A man that's so loving? It's because they have installed this program into their subconscious. The subconscious learns in repetition. Is artificial intelligence emotional? What do you think, Costas? It's a machine. What do you think? If they program emotions into it, then it's programmed, but it's not emotional in the human sense, no. We create, so Aura was saying we create heaven and hell on earth. Yeah, it's in here. It's in your subconscious. When your subconscious learns to fear, when your subconscious learns to be irritable, When your subconscious learns to not have patience, to be impatient, all of these things are learned by your subconscious because you've met people like this. You've met impatient people. You've met angry people. You've met people that hate. You've met people that always are disappointed with something. They're not happy with something. They're disappointed. They're frustrated. Frustration is learned by your subconscious. If you don't clear it, it comes back. It becomes a habit. It's very, very simple. But until you understand it at its roots, okay, let's look at the tree again. Let's look at the tree, okay? I say this every day. Illustration helps, okay? So let's do a little visualization exercise. The tree. The roots of the tree are your subconscious core beliefs. A belief is a thought you keep thinking. If you keep thinking the thought, it will become your reality. Above the roots of the tree is the trunk of the tree. This is your paradigm. Your paradigm is how you see the world, your attitude towards the world based upon your beliefs. What does the paradigm do? It produces the kind of actions that you take. Okay, so the fruits of the tree are the actions. And what do actions do? They get results. If you want to change the results in your life, right, you have to change the fruits of the tree, the action. Okay, in order to change that, right, on a regular basis, or let's say a permanent basis or semi-permanent because not, everything is temporary based upon that thought, then you change your paradigm. How do you change your paradigm? You have to change the roots. And yesterday we went over the fact that human beings don't have just one paradigm. You don't act the same way with your mom and dad, or your mom or your dad. You don't act the same way with your siblings. You don't act the same way with your best friend. You don't act the same way with your boss. You don't act the same way. So what I'm saying is human beings are very complex beings. We're very sophisticated beings, more than you realize. Maybe you haven't understood this about yourself. You have this myriad of feelings, right? You have all of these feelings about all of these things, and then you think you're going crazy. No, you're not. You're not crazy. You're capable. You are capable. You're capable of processing all of this. More than a supercomputer at this point. They're being developed better and better. But so far, the human being still is superior. So what do people do? Well, they go to therapy. Why do they go to therapy? Well, to organize all these things, to sort things out, to assist in focusing on what is priority or what is important and trying to fix what's not. Where does it get fixed? It gets fixed in here. That's how powerful you are as a human being. And when you understand how powerful you are as a human being, then you can address manifestation, then you can do it intentionally. You're manifesting whether you're aware of it or not, whether you believe in it or not. It's not something you have to believe in. We can say it another way. We can say accomplishing goals. You don't have to believe in accomplishing goals because you accomplish it whether you think so or not. Because if you have bad programs in your subconscious, or let's say bad habits, or let's say you do the same things over and over, getting the same results over and over, it's because the roots of the tree have not changed. How do you change it? Affirmations, meditation, say it with me, vocalization and visualization, okay? That's why they say the pen is mightier than the sword, because you can change your mind with a pen. You can change your mind by speaking. That takes a little longer. How long are we talking about? 63 days with a pen. 63 days. Most people take this and go, I don't need that. Too much trouble. Too much trouble to write for 30 seconds. If I write a sentence for 30 seconds every day, it's going to look crazy. It does look crazy. I'll show you. It does look crazy. It looks very crazy. Okay. This is my current one right here. But this is the one I just finished. This does look crazy. It looks very crazy. These are affirmations. This is not journaling. These are affirmations. Okay, so affirmations, yeah, it looks very crazy. Like, what? You write a sentence every day for what? You have to condition this. Because this will bring you everything. There is only the conscious, subconscious, and superconscious. And the superconscious and the subconscious work together. Because life happens for you, according to what's in here. The universal law of correspondence, right? What's in here is out here in your life. Okay, go look at your car. Go look at your house. Go look at your desk. What does your desk look like? Do you have a busy desk? Then you're busy in here. Do you have a messy desk? Then you're not organized in here. Do you have an orderly desk? Everything in its place, everything, you know, I know a lot of girls that are like that. They're very organized in here. When you go into an executive's office, is it messy? Are things thrown all over the place? I had a boss once. There wasn't enough room in his office. Everything was piled on his desk. Everything was all over the place. It was very chaotic. And guess what? He went out of business. He went out of business. Artificial intelligence is an extension of consciousness. It's an extension of intelligence. It's an accumulation of intelligence. There you go. It's not a part of human consciousness. It's a record of human consciousness. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, so Bianca, you're correct, yeah. And that's why they did that in the old days. Yeah, 50 times. Yeah. That's why they did that in the old days. I mean, there's nothing new. Nothing new has been invented. So what Bianca was saying, we're on the TikTok feed. So we're on several platforms. We're on 2 Facebook pages right now. We're on an Instagram page right now. We're on Trovo in Europe. We're on TikTok. And we're also simultaneously on YouTube. And so Bianca put in the comments, in elementary school, if she would talk in class, the teacher would make her write, I won't talk in class 50 times. Yeah, so here's the thing, right? You cannot affect the subconscious using negatives, first of all, Bianca, but I know what you're saying, and that's why they did that, because they knew it was subconscious. But here's the thing. So maybe, maybe your teacher didn't know about that, but when you write a negative in a statement, okay, your subconscious doesn't recognize it. God does not recognize it. The superconscious does not recognize it. Let me give you an example, and this may help you, because I see a lot of young people teaching people manifestation, right, or accomplishing goals, right, the wrong way, okay, because they're using negatives. So if you're writing an affirmation, okay, let me get my pen for visual, okay, that your affirmation says, I will not smoke anymore. God does not recognize not. Okay, the universe, God, however you want to say that, higher intelligence, infinite intelligence, source, however you want to say that. Okay, it does not recognize negatives. So your affirmation now says, I will smoke anymore. And what happens? You won't quit smoking. Why? Because you're enforcing it into your subconscious. The subconscious does not recognize negatives. So to correct that, Bianca, something more effective would be, it feels good to breathe clean air. Now what happens? Now your subconscious gets that idea, like, oh, it's good to breathe clean air. Okay, So are you going to smoke? Probably not. Now, your will to smoke will decrease. It's all about your will. Okay. When we do vocalization exercises with my clients, now my clients are high performance professionals, is what I call them, because they're responsible for a lot of people, or they're responsible for a lot of work. They do a lot of stuff like that, you know. And yeah, they're high performance because they do a lot, they accomplish a lot. So they have to get into flow state. Flow state is where things you take a task, boom, knock it out. Take a task, knock it out. That kind of thing. So now what I can tell you about this process and the affirmation process, let's say, for example, let's take it to something more relatable on a personal level. Let's say it's a diet. Okay? Now, you don't want to say something like I will lose 25 pounds. You don't want to do that. Okay. What you want to do is, it feels good to be thin. Okay, now what will that do? Well, if you write that for 63 days, it takes 63 days to form a habit. If you do that for 63 days, guess what's going to happen? When you go to the party in the weekend, you see the dessert table with all those beautiful pies and cakes and stuff, right? All that sugar, okay? You're going to take a look at the dessert table and your subconscious will go, hey, feels good to be thin, remember? And you'll kind of look at it and you go, yeah, I think I'll pass. And you'll pass on it. Why? Because you're reinforcing those actions in your subconscious. Everything is subconscious learning. I don't care if you're watching Tony Robbins, Joe Dispenza. Joe Dispenza does it through meditation. Everyone has their avenue. Tony Robbins does it through motivation. My job as a teacher is to break things down so people go, oh, it's like that. And then it's easy to do. You know, it's really funny. Like, I have a voice school. That's one of my companies, Voicemaster Vocal Development, right? It's under our family of service companies. And I take 3-year-olds. I teach 3-year-olds. And this one lady brought a 3-year-old to me. She brought her 3-year-old granddaughter to me last year. And she goes, you know, we looked all over because this girl is so talented and she sings all day long. She loves to sing. She's talented. We wanted to have somebody help her. Nobody takes 3-year-olds. They all take 6 years old and above. And I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. I said, well, they don't know how to teach. Look, if you cannot communicate with a 3-year-old and you're a teacher, something is wrong. Period. Communicating with a 3-year-old, it's very simple. Very simple. But you need to hold their focus. You need to break things down in terms that they can understand. That's the job of a teacher. A teacher is not to show you how smart they are. You ever been in front of those teachers? They want to show you how smart they are. They want to show you how much they know, right? What do? They confuse you. Why? Well, because they're talking way over your head. They're having you conceptualize things in terms that you don't understand. That's not what a teacher is. A teacher is somebody who breaks down things to the lowest possible level so that even a 3-year-old can understand. But then again, you know, we have been conditioned to believe. The people with the biggest words and the people with the biggest terms and the people with the long-winded explanations about this, that, and the other thing, oh, they're smart, so we need to catch up to their level because they're the teacher. They're the teacher. We're the students. That's bull crap. Bull crap. Einstein said, If you cannot explain things simply enough, you don't understand it. Einstein said that. Look it up. In other words, when you're teaching someone something, or when you go to these coaching programs or whatever, they're going to try to show you how smart they are. Not all of them. I'm not saying everybody's like that. There's a lot of good teachers out there. But they break it down for you. And that's how you can tell a good teacher from a teacher who's just flexing. A teacher who's just flexing will talk over your head all day long and make you feel guilty or make you feel bad that you can't comprehend things at their level, when they are light years ahead of you in the subject because they've been studying it longer. In my book, this book, it's been on Amazon, it's been selling on Amazon for years. In chapter, I think it's chapter 5, I have to keep looking, chapter 5, the earth-shattering carelessness of authority, I talk about a teacher, okay? And a teacher told this girl, okay, that she should find something else to do because she was not up to his performance standards in singing. Now, this book is not about singing per se. Okay, it's called The Universal Law of Attraction in Singing, but my book is about the personal accomplishments that happen in people's lives through vocalization. Okay, but this girl was 23 years old in that paragraph 5. If you write to me, I'll send you a PDF copy of the book for free. You don't have to buy it because you're watching the live. That's what I do for people watching the lives. So, Costa's technical intelligence is not only a recording intelligence, but also has its own thinking. It's been programmed by humans, Costa's. Yeah. It's learning to be autonomous, but yeah, it's you have to think of the origin. So anyway, what I was talking about was this girl was 23 and in college, and her singing teacher or whatever, music teacher, told her she was trying to become a voice major, and he said you should find something else to do. And the earth-shattering carelessness of authority means that when someone is in a position, let's say a teacher or a professor, or let's say someone you look up to, it doesn't have to be a teacher, okay? But when you encounter something like that, what happens? Well, it shatters your world. Why? Because you hold this person high. You hold this person as an authority on whatever. And sometimes it's your parents. And your parents will make a careless comment. But it will hit you here. That's just figurative. It doesn't hit you there. It hits you here. And that girl closed up like this. She went like this for years and years and years. From 23 years old, she just clammed up like this. Did not sing until she was 42. And then she came to see me. And she said, you know what? I was told by my college professor that I should find something else to do. And just by that one comment, because he was in authority, he shut her down mentally and emotionally. Singing was the last thing in her world. And she came to me when she was 42. She goes, I just want to try. I just want to try this because, I had that experience, whatever. And I said, first of all, your college professor should be ashamed of himself. Second of all, you have to know that every human being can sing. And I took her in, and in 2 months, she was singing like a canary, like a bird. She was singing well. She was singing very well. And then she had to move out of Hawaii, and I told her, please follow up with somebody, anybody, but keep doing this. And I proved to her that she could sing. I can prove to anybody that can sing. But I'm saying that when you get these comments from a person in authority, whether it's your mom, your dad, whatever, it hits you hard. it hits you very hard. Whoever you, it could be your boss, it could be a CEO of a company or whatever, somebody you look up to, but it will hit you hard. And that's chapter 5 in my book. If you send me if you're just DM message or whatever on TikTok, whatever, message me, whatever. I'll send you a free copy of the book. Okay. All right, Bianca, is there a way to teach this to a child when sibling or friend tells them they can do something? Yes, of course, absolutely. Can you be specific for me and I'll answer your question? Teach what to a child? They can do something? Yeah, so what I think you're asking is if there's a natural gift that you see in a child, can you develop it? The answer is yes. You can develop a 3-year-old, yeah. So it all depends on attention span, Bianca. In other words, how long can that 3-year-old pay attention? So far, in my experience, and I've been doing this for 36 years, in my experience, they can hold focus, a 3-year-old can hold focus for half an hour. And in the beginning, it's always a challenge because you have to keep them interested. You have to engage them. You have to constantly engage a 3-year-old. Teach them not to take in the negative. Okay, wait. Let me see. I have to expand my comment section here. 1 second. Let me just stretch this out. Okay. Teach them not to take in the negative words that people say. So you don't. Are you talking about a 3-year-old or just a child in general? So the first thing you do is you teach the contrast between positive and negative. Okay, so, 9 years old? Oh, that's easy. That's easy. So yeah, with a 9-year-old, they have full comprehension. Children do not become a part of consciousness until they're 7. Up until 7, they're just taking in information. They're not even a part of consciousness yet. They're just absorbing every experience, everything. They're just taking in data. It's like a computer that just takes in data until they're 7 years old. A 9-year-old is very easy to teach. So that's like what, 4th grade. So just reiterate and keep reiterating the difference between positive and negative, and what effects the positive has on the brain and what effects the negative has. And when I say brain, I'm just talking about emotion. So the positive words reinforce, negative words take away. Okay, so you can use the add and subtract thing. So negative words subtract from your life, and positive words add to your life, and you can teach it that way. But yeah, my 9-year-olds do really good. We work with their voice. So we have them express themselves through their voice. Now, this is not singing per se. This works in life coaching as well. So yeah. And Bianca, if you want to message me on Jay, can you put up my email real fast that Bianca can grab my email? Bianca, you can also just message me on TikTok, and I will be happy to share my email with you, and I'll give you a detailed answer and a detailed formula that you can go about with your 9-year-old. Yeah, no problem. 9-year-olds are easy to teach. They're very aware, and they're very smart. They're very sharp. Children see right through you. Okay, guys, you have to know that children see right through you. It's very difficult to mask in front of a child. They see right through you. They know the truth. They see you. They're aware. They may not say anything, but they see who you are. Okay, it's 8 o'clock, and we'd like to say mahalo again from Hawaii. We'd like to say thank you, TikTok. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you, Trovo in Europe. Thank you, Twitch. And thank you, Instagram, and our 2 Facebook pages that are running live right now in our simulcast. We're going to let go of our international feed,